I will speak in 2 languages, and if you guys have any questions, I mean, feel free. Then we'll explain back into Chinese. So I don't know if any of y'all, I know Vincent has some experience already with the real estate kind of thing. Do you, any of y'all have any? Have you buy a house yet?
No, not yet.
Right. What about you, Jimmy?
Not yet.
I know. So good for you guys, because you guys can take advantage on the $10,000 grant. I cannot do that anymore. I haven't taken advantage on the government any funds. So take the advantage when you can. So right now, I think when you guys are coming here, it is for the 10,000 grant, right? You guys are very interested to know. And also, 因为现在政府它第一次买房嘛，因为利率高，你知道其实是什么事情的话，它都是有个平衡点的。然后它利率高的话，它现在就是它现在，等一下 Jessie 会帮你们更加详细的说怎么样去做这一步一步。但是现在的话，政府因为利率高的话，它其他的东西它就下来了，它就说，比如说，他说 zero down payment， 他以前其实只给军人有这个待遇，但现在因为利率太高了，所以他就对我们的平民老百姓的话，也有可以享受zero down payment。然后而且 Jessie 他们银行的话还有一个$10,000 grant。那这个 loan 的事情呢，我就留给 Jessie 说。我这边主要是就是说我是 agent， 我叫 Michelle Han。那我的 experience 就是说，我其实我也是移民过来的，大陆移民过来。那但是我是大学过来的，大学过来我住了1年之后，大家都知道中国人比较喜欢买房啊、炒房啊之类的，不是炒房。但是我那时候就是 very lucky， 我爸妈就帮我说，是不是你要一直在这边的话，就先买套房子。然后我就是做了2房东，一个每个房间再转租出去。所以我的 real estate experience 的话，是从大学开始就有了。我就一直有在做，就是说房屋买卖啊，一开始就自己给家里人，就自己房屋买卖啊、投资之类的。然后后来慢慢的说，这个事情，我那时候就做很多一些这样买卖嘛。然后我就说，那我自己喜欢房地产，我就想说，找一个自己热衷的事业。So here I am。我看上去年轻，但是其实我还是有经验的，就是想让你们知道 ，OK。然后在各地方买房，我们都是说，其实我们整个团队，我们是各色肤色都有的。我们有大的$1 million deals， 小的不管20-30万都有。但我想说的是，买房子根据你自己的 budget 来看，你千万不要觉得是说，我这个房子我可能只有20万的 budget， 他们会不会对我不太上心？都不会的。因为对我来说的话，我对每个 transaction 的话，我其实都是像在做自己的 transaction。因为20万对你来说的话，这也是你人生当中最大的一次买卖。所以我们这边就说，买房都是 your need、your dream、your concern、your finance， 不要觉得钱多或者钱少，这个是要适合你自己的。So it's all about you. When you hire me, it's still all about you. I'm working for you, Jessie working for you. We all work for you. Whatever you want, we'll help you to get there. 所以我们刚开始就是准备买房的话，那就是 communication 是很重要的。Sorry, I'll explain it later. Communication is key point. No matter what kind of relationship you are. And when I see real estate, I see we are in a short-term marriage, maybe, because it's very important. You guys are你们花你们人生当中最大的一笔钱去做一个交易。那我们跟你合作的话 ，communication important. You're gonna tell me what you need, what you want, everything. 然后我来帮你 deliver。Communication， 如果当中有任何的 transaction 都是 up and down， 好不好？在美国的话，它其实是有一个buyer agency agreement， 很多就是说，人会误以为说，我是不是 sign 了之后就是说 lock with that person？It's not， 因为 on the agreement。这个 agreement 在美国的话，只是说 you lock with the agent, so I can legally represent you, not because I want to lock you down. Because 那个 agreement 的话，一共有2页，第2页的话上面会写到 when you want to terminate it. all the transaction has up and down. 一些的东西 most of my clients love me, but some people, you know, you can't make everyone love you. But if you don't, you have option to say, hey, I don't want to work with you anymore. I'm gonna find someone else. You are more than free to do it. But for the agency agreement, it's also protect your rights and also the agent rights. Because agent, just for them to legally represent you when they are going to someone to write an offer for you. So they know, hey, we're legally bounded, I can represent you. 而且然后你签了那个东西，其实的话，也是让 agent 的话 ，agent 和你两个就是说那个合约绑定契约精神，但是 but you also have a way out, okay? And so communication, that's what I'm saying. So 我这边的话就给你们稍微讲解一下这个 steps, home buying steps, so you guys can understand. 第一个的话就是说，找 agent sign the agency agreement, which I was just telling you guys. And second, get pre-approved. Pre-approved that Jessie can help you. You need to find a lender, right? So next step is what I already tell you guys. 你要跟你的 agent 说，你要什么样的房子？就从最简单的，你帮我看一下是谁吧。你看一下是谁，是不是门口有没有人？
没有，你好啊。
啊，对，门口。
哦，在门口。
你看一下嘛。然后那个 ，Yeah, what's your needs want? 我是 agent， 我只是说能帮你按照你的心愿帮你去找房子。你什么都不告诉我的话，我怎么帮你找房子？是不是？市场上房子这么多，2个房间、3个房间 ，single, whatever 都有。I can't help you if you don't communicate with me, if you don't tell me needs, wants, and strategize. Hi, hello. Can your daughter speak Chinese or only English? Oh, okay. So we are just now. It's on the steps about home buying process. If you guys have any questions, just let me know, and I can also explain Chinese as well. So then the next step is once you tell me everything that you want, right? So I can help you to start looking for a house. So, okay, question now. So Jimmy, when you are thinking about to buy your first home, what do you need?
I know the particular elementary school
Okay.
I'm looking for.
Okay.
I know my budget.
Okay.
And I have a schedule for my, it's not a schedule, but I have like 2 options for my down payment and looking for advice on that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And then the other question, I'll be like, hey, how many people you have in your house? Because that determines how many rooms do you need, right?
Yeah.
And hey, because we are Asian, a lot of Asians like to have in-laws living there. So do you guys need 3 levels or 4 levels? So you guys can have a space in between, right?
Yep.
That is all the question I will ask you. Like, if you don't know it, but I will help you to figure it out what is necessary, because that's by end of the day that's gonna help all of us to save time. I don't want to show you 50 houses on the market. That's not what you're looking for.
Yep.
I will at the very beginning to help you to determinize what you really need.
Thank you.
So goes back to, so that's why I can very particular targeting what you need here. So negotiating terms. So we're looking houses. It's like, hey, this is the one I like. Finally find the dream house. And negotiate term and discussion. So we'll come back to talk again. Hey, it's all, and I will do CMA for you, meaning the house is listed for 500, let's say. 500, 4 bedroom, 3 baths. I hope we can really find that kind of budget nowadays in the DMV area. But let's just say, find that. I'll do CMA, I'll look around the market for the recent sell to see is this price right, reasonable, If I find the recent sell in the same neighborhood, which I will show you guys on the computer, recent sell in the neighborhood for the same layout, 4 bedroom, 3 baths, it's sold for 800. I'll be like, hey, put down the offer. You don't want it, I will buy it, right? But if the house in the same neighborhood is only sold for 450, I'll be like, hey, let's talk again to see what's the extra $50,000 will be. And that will be the negotiation time and communication time between me and the listing agent. I will need to figure out what's the 50K difference. Why do you dare to ask $50K more than the last sale in the same neighborhood? But in today's market, it's really normal. For the past 2 years, the house has sold in the neighborhood for 400. The next house on the market, it will be 430 and 450. But we are not at the regular market, but the regular times, this is how we would negotiate. And then we'll make offers. If everything looks good, we had a communication, everything looks good, then we'll make offers, right? We'll make offers, then we're talking about, I know some of you guys saw me on the social media, the red. On red, I have a topic about 3 contingency. 3 contingency at the property that can help you freely to get out of contract without paying any penalties. So this will be on the contract too. So 3 contingency, it will be inspection contingency, finance contingency, and what's the other one? Oh gosh, and what's the last one? Finance, oh gosh, I also...
Non-contingency?
Appraisal contingency. So, any of you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know the last one, the appraisal, but I know the first 2.
Okay, so you know the first 2.
Yeah.
Are we all on the same page? You wanted to explain it for me? What's the
Yes,
inspection?
I know the inspection means if you find any major, I'll call it, what's the word? It's called non-compliance to the code or something. It means if the houses have some structural problems,
Yeah.
then you have the right to get off the contract.
Yeah, but only if you have the inspection contingency up.
Right.
And also the finance?
Finance means if your loan is not approved.
Yeah, correct. So that would be Jessie. Jessie's like 20 days later after our ratification. Sorry, Vincent, your loan was not approved.
Yeah, I heard that millions of times.
So we have the right. We'll get your deposit back.
That's yours?
That's not mine. Just tap it. Just tap it. Someone else's. Probably Anthony's, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, so that is all protect your rights. Inspection, you are right. Inspect contingency, back in the last 2 years, people don't use as much because they're just trying to get the house. But now, once the market stabilized, you can see, like with my experience, I can usually tell already if the house, if we need to do inspection or not. But when a first-time home buyer, I don't want to have the liability. I'll tell you, when we go inside the house, the first couple of things we will see is the structure, because that's its most expensive thing. Roof, HVAC, water heater, those are costing $5,000 up, $5,000 to $10,000. I would tell you those are good or bad, or maybe it's too old. We might need to do something in the near future. Those kind of things affect, the house price as well. But other than that, usually it's not big problems. But inspector is someone who's really specialty of the house. They will check the faucet, check everything of the house. If there's anything, it gives us a negotiation, another negotiation. It gives us another negotiation chance. Oh, I got it. Give us another negotiation chance. Go back to the owner. Maybe we can ask for credits or ask them to fix it. If they, and then finance is, if the loan officer for some reason, usually it's good to go. But for the last 2 years, the market is unstable and the people's job was unstabilized. Let's say if you are under contract, we were under contract September 1st, and you have finance contingency, right? And our closing time is October 1st. But for some reason, you quit your job in September 15th. Do you think you can still get the house?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that would be so that your lender will call you. What happened? Why would you quit your job right before closing? We can't prove your loan anymore because you can't prove income. So that things will happen. But that, it will help you because when you make an offer, you give the seller a deposit, a significant amount of deposit. Those contingency can help you to get a deposit back. But if you, 20 days in, you just tell me, Michelle, I just don't want a house anymore. No any reason, I just not feeling to buy it. That's our not protect under it. I'm sorry, you're gonna lose your deposit. You know? So it's reasonable, we'll get your deposit back. And the last thing, the appraisal. Appraisal is meaning like, you know, right now the house market, the price has been go up so much. If we made an offer on the house, it's $550, and the appraisal comes in only $500K. So the $50K difference, Jessie can only lend you according for that $500K. So the $50K difference, again, the contingency will kick you in again. You tell me if you wanted to move forward, or I will go back to talk with the seller to negotiate about $50K difference. Does that make sense? You look confused. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, guys have any questions so far with the contingency? Okay, so this is all just your rights, and also tells you, you know, we're slowly moving to the 8th now because all the contingency. So with all the contingency, congratulations, all the contingency is up, nothing is wrong, inspection is good, finance is good, appraisal is good. So now we are close to the closing day, October 1st. Right before we close, I will usually schedule a final walkthrough with my buyer. So it will be September 31st. We will holding hands together to see the house again one last time, just to see if the house is still on the same condition as the time back when we made an offer. If, for instance, if right before the closing, instance like the pipeline got busted. Good, we call that because that would be seller's responsibility to fix it. But if we skip the final walkthrough and we missed it, after you sign it, it will be your responsibility. That's why final walkthrough is important. We need to do it. Then we happily, everything is good. We happily goes down to the settlement now. And after settlement, there's, you know, getting your insurance, get your utility name changed, all that's good things. I will tell you on the closing table. I usually tell my client a week prior to the closing so that you guys can get prepared. You won't lose your electricity, water, and things like that. So this is the 11 steps to buying home. You guys have any questions? I hope it kind of helped to make a little bit sense. At least you guys know like the steps, and you know once we get into the home buying things, you guys know what to expect. Good? Okay. So next it will be like, you know, so that goes back to determine your down payment. Usually back to the normal days, you 20% down, right, Jessie? So Jessie will come up and tell us all about the lending good things that she has done now. Can help us to put 0 down out of pocket.
Absolutely.
Come up.
Sure.
Come up. And she also gonna give us $10,000 today.
Well, not me.
Today. So you wanna all charge that?
For first-time buyer, if my wife, she has a home before getting married, and I'm a first-time buyer, and if we want to buy a house together, can we still get that?
No, but put your name on first. You will get the benefits and add her name later.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And the second, if she sell her house first, and then we buy the new house.
Then you buy the new house together. I usually recommend my client, you know, take two advantage if you can. Why you combine your advantage, right?
That's the next question because my down payment.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Then, yeah, I'm getting it.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh, I think it might be because of the internet.
Why don't you just send it to my computer and just use mine?
Yeah, sure.
Why don't you? Oh.
It could be because the internet is not connected.
Okay. I mean, you don't need internet.
No?
Yeah, you are just showing everything on your computer.
Yeah, I'll just send it to your email and I'll use your laptop.
Okay, that's fine. Let me get it. Yep.
Sorry about that, guys.
It's okay as long as you give us as much as possible money. It's okay, Jessie. Take your time. Give me the money.
They're gonna have to turn you upside down, keep shaking.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Where? Hope you can send it to me, then I will. So again, so those grants, it all depends on your
Income.
salary. Yeah,
A lot of
income.
them actually is based on your income.
Yeah, so it's anywhere from the 7,500 to
I
$10,000.
wish we could give out $75,000. That'd be amazing.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, so like in the US, like they really give out a lot of benefits for the first time home buyer because they encourage you to buy, you know, they want everyone to, they keep saying affordable house. This is, I guess, this is the way for them to help you. So it's just, there are really a lot of programs, just a matter that you know or not. You guys are here, you guys know the program, who's out there, I know a lot of them, last year, I guess they don't have this program. A lot of first time bought it, but there was low interest rate. What was the interest rate last year? It was like 3-4%.
Well, 2 years, in 2020, in the end of 2020, the interest rate was around like 2.5%. But now, but today's interest rate, if you're looking at 30-year fixed, it's gonna be around like 6.375. It has jumped up a lot.
Yeah.
And then it significantly increased your monthly payment.
Yeah.
那个 10% 是什么？你就是
10% 的话，它其实是这样子。So in the U.S., you guys know, like used to be is still most of the case today. If you for primary residence, if you don't have more than 20% down, you can pay as low as 3.5 FHA loans. 3.5 down payment, right? But then you have to pay mortgage insurance if you don't pay up to 20%. The mortgage insurance is anywhere from 100 to 500, really depends on the house and your situation. But right now, what she has right now, 0 down payment, you still don't have to pay the mortgage insurance, which means you already saved. On the other hand, yes, the interest rate is more, but you don't pay the mortgage insurance. You save the money on that way, right? And the 10% is the option for you. 10% is an investment, right?
No, that's actually for first-time home buyer and the second home.
Yes,
So
that's
for
a little
both.
different. Okay, okay.
But then we don't talk about second home. We only
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
about primary today.
Yeah, I mean, if you can do 0 down payment, why are you thinking about 10%? But 10% maybe depends on your income. So if you have to put, right? But right now, if your down payment is less than 20%, you don't have to pay mortgage insurance. That's what I'm talking about. You should take advantage of it. And on top of that, they give you $10,000 grant, you know, to help you to buy a house. 10000块钱去帮你去买房子，因为你今天不用付down payment，但是你政府的税你要付的呀， 是不是？你买卖房子的话，它都会有税务产生的。在美国你做什么都要付税，那相当于1万块钱的话帮你 cover， 因为你买卖的话你有这种政府税、county 税这种税。
给你1万块钱就是
可以帮你 cover 这是政府给你的 closing help， 不是说直接可以放到袋子里面去。
是不是要矫正一下？他们有时候会有一些文字的差别。Up to
10,000. Yeah.
But we try not to fix that amount.
No,
10,000.
yeah.
Up to.
Up to. So 7,500.
So
the
that
minimum.
word is very important. A lot of people
10,000.
get
Right. 10,000.
a little
Yes.
carried away. Oh, 10 grand. Give me 10 grand. I'm done with it.
No. You have there is. That's why Jessie's upstairs. She's gonna tell you guys all the fine lines.
Alright, so everybody, hi again. My name is Jessie Huang. I'm the loan officer at Meridian Bank. And Michelle has gone over the steps for buying the houses. So I'm gonna go over different loan options with you guys today. And let's see. So we're gonna talk about Michelle.
What's up?
Why is it showing? Okay. So today we're gonna talk about different loan options. The first three is the three popular loan products in the market that almost everywhere has it. It's conventional loan, FHA loan, VA loan. Some of them Michelle actually mentioned a little bit earlier. And then for 4, 5, 6, 7, this is the 4, 5, 6. Those three are the programs that our bank actually has. So we actually have the flyers in front of you guys, but then when we talk about that, we can look at the flyers later. And let's see. Like I mentioned earlier, those three are the most popular loan products. The first one is conventional. Do you guys know, are you guys familiar with any of those conventional FHA loan or VA loan? Okay, good, that's what we're here for. So conventional loan is actually the most popular one. What is it? It's the loan that is not insured by government. So it will be like private lender, but then it's not secured by government. And for this program, it typically requires 5% down, because a lot of people think that there's 20% down on the house. Not necessarily. It only requires 5%, but if you're the first-time home buyer, you can put down as less as 3%. But then, what's the downfall for this one? It does have mortgage insurance. So mortgage insurance costs anywhere from $100 to $300. It really depends on your income and your credit score. Credit score is very important on this. So, like when the mortgage insurance is costing you money, there at some point that you don't have to pay for mortgage for the house. You put down 20%, you already have 20% equity on that. Then you don't have to pay for mortgage insurance anymore. But then for some people, they might want to have some funds on the side, or maybe they haven't saved up enough for 20% yet. Let's say they put down 10%. So for this program, this is not a program, it's just regular loans. For that part that you have to pay mortgage insurance somewhere from, like we mentioned earlier, $100 to maybe like $300. But over the years, once you put the money towards it, a few years later, once your equity meets 20%, you can actually call the mortgage company, actually the bank, asking them to cancel your mortgage insurance. So after that, you won't have to pay for mortgage insurance anymore. And then the next program that we're going to talk about is FHA loan. This is the program that is actually guaranteed and insured by government. That one only requires 3.5% down payment, but it does require one-time funding fee. The government will charge you 1.75% funding fee on that. Let's say you buy a house and then you're getting a loan for $300,000. There's an upfront funding fee that would be like $5,250 will be charged. It will be added to the loan amount. You don't have to pay it out of pocket, but then it's just the funds that you actually have to be paying upfront. And For this one, there's also mortgage insurance, but then the difference between this one and conventional is as long as you have FHA loan, you're paying for mortgage insurance for the lifetime. Most of the time, that mortgage, the loan term is 30-year fixed for FHA, so which means even if you're paying, let's say the house, you bought it for $300,000, and then over the years, your equity is already like 50%, but you still gotta keep paying for that mortgage insurance until you actually refinance into a different loan program, conventional loan, then you don't have to pay for that anymore.
Okay.
And the next one is VA loan. It's for veterans only. So let's say if you used to be a veteran in the past, now you're retired, you qualify for this program. Or if you're currently in the military, you also qualify for this program. The good thing about this program is you can put down 0 down payment. There is one time 2.3% funding fee the government charges, but then you don't have to pay for mortgage insurance. So out of these 3, the first 2, most of people can do these 2 programs. But then for this one, it's only required for people in the military or retired veterans. And as we know, the first one and the second one all have mortgage insurance if you don't have, well, for this one, if you don't have 20% equity on it. And then this is what I'm gonna talk about for our bank's program. Like we have a few different programs that you don't have to put down 20% in order to not have to pay for the mortgage insurance. And then the next one we're gonna talk about, let's start with the 75 up to $10,000 grant. I believe that a lot of people are here for this program today. And well, of course, not just for that, but then that's one of the most important things that everybody wants to know. So this is the Federal Reserve program that Meridian Bank, that our bank is working with. And you will be eligible from anywhere from $7,500 to $10,000 grant. As Michelle mentioned, it is based on your income. So the government tends to help people who make less income, so that's why they're offering this grant. But if you have not higher income, then you wouldn't be eligible for that because they already know that you have money, so you don't need help. So how does this work? For $7,500, that's for all the occupations, no matter what your job is, that will be guaranteed minimum $7,500 that will be given to you. But then if you are working in different industry, like if you work at a hospital, you work at a school, you work at a police department. So we have mentioned here, doctor, nurse, teacher, police officer, firefighter, and then other significant other jobs. Now you will be eligible for $10,000 instead of $7,500. Any of you guys that actually is working in the field that qualifies for $10,000 here? I know you do, right?
Probably.
Okay, Michelle did tell me that you're a teacher, right? So you will be qualified for the $10,000. But then it does also have requirements for that. What the requirements are, you must be a first-time home buyer. How do we define if you're a first-time home buyer? The last 3 years, you must not have any home ownership. Let's say you own a house 5 years ago. You sold it last year. So it has been only 1 year. That you will still be considered first-time home buyer. But another example would be if you were buying a house in 2010 and then you sold the house in 2017, it has been 5 years. Of course, you will qualify for first-time home buyer. So this is what the program is for. And then it does have household income limit. That one is the most important part. Most likely, as long as your income qualifies, then you will be eligible. I did have an example here in Montgomery County what the income limit is. It's saying that if your family has 1-person household, the income limit is $79,760. And then if you have 2 people in a household, the annual income limit, household income limit cannot be over $91,120. And then 3 people, that would be $102,480. So what it's basically saying is, if you're single, so you have 1 person in the household, the income will be 79760. If you have 2, that's maybe husband and wife, if both of you work and then your income cannot be over $91,120. And then 3 people, then maybe now you have a family, then 3 husband, wife, and a kid. And then the income limit will be different. So if you have 4 people in the household, the income limit will be increasing as well. And there are options, like there are people who might be a single mom, then there will be mom and a kid, then income limit will also be on this criteria. So there will be $91,120. Okay, we do have a website for that. If you do tell me that, hey Jessie, I'm looking to buy in a different county, maybe not Montgomery County, then I will go to that website to look up like what the income limit is in the area, because every state and every county, they have different income limits. Okay, and for this program, the best part is that's the grant that is given to you that you don't have to pay back. But they do have conditions. You need to live in the house for 5 years. Even if you rent it out, that's fine, as long as you don't sell it. You don't have to pay anything back. But if you are paying, well, it will be forgiven at 20% per year, meaning that if you bought the house for a year and then you sell that the next year, so you have been living in the house for 1 year, will be 20% forgiven, which means 20% of whatever amount that you got is forgiven, but then the rest of money that you actually gotta pay back to the government. But then this program, their interest rate is the same as the market one. Unlike, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the MMP program, it's a program that Meridian actually offers. They do have similar program, they give you up to like somewhere like 3% of the purchase price. But the problem is that's a loan that they're given to you. And then another thing is that is actually well, that's a loan that you actually have to pay back. And then the other thing is the interest rate will usually be higher than the current market is. But then if you do really need some help on the down payment, we can always try to find out like what kind of different options that will be there for you. And this is the $7,500 to $10,000 grant that we have. And then the next one is the 0% financing. It's actually, it's also in the flyer, so you guys can take those flyers home later. Like if you have any questions, you can always ask. For this program, it's 0 down payment. Like we mentioned earlier, all the loan program that we went over, there's only one program that offers 0 down payment, which is VA loan. But then you have to be in the military. And then this is the perfect program for everybody who's trying to put on 0% because they might want to keep money on the side for other investment, or maybe because you have not saved enough money, then you could still buy a house, doesn't mean that you cannot. And this program that we offer, it's designed for first-time home buyer. There's no mortgage insurance on that either. It has some requirements. Of course, every program usually does for first-time home buyers. So same, first-time home buyer, you must not have ownership in the property in the past 3 years. And it does require you to have credit score of 700. And the income limit on this program is actually higher than the other. So in Montgomery County, the income limit is $112,400. It's not based on your household income. It's based on whoever is on the loan application. Let's say you might be making $100,000. Your wife makes another $100,000. We are not combining the income to qualify. We only use one person. If you're the only person on the loan, then we only count your income to see if it's eligible. And most important thing for this program is actually, not all the houses are eligible for this program. We actually have a website that we actually have to type in the address to see if it's eligible. So basically, most of the time, if the property is in a higher income area, then most of the time that it will not qualify. But then if it's in a lower income or medium income area, some of the addresses will qualify, some of them do not. But then before you go out to look at the houses with Michelle, then feel free to send me the addresses. I can always look it up and see if it's eligible or not. If it is, perfect. If it's not, then we can come up with a different program. This program that unfortunately it's only available in Maryland, Virginia, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Virginia is not one of them for now, unfortunately, but we do have different programs for Virginia. The next one I'm gonna talk about, that will be the program that is also available in Virginia. So for this program, we use this program because when there are other programs that doesn't fit your criteria, let's say the last one, 0% down, the address is not eligible, or your income limit is too high, you're not eligible for that, then we can come up with this program. This program only requires 10% down payment. Also, it has no mortgage insurance. Like regular loans, you actually have to pay mortgage insurance on that. It will cost you money. And it does also require a credit score, 700. And you must not have, if you're currently renting, okay, say you're leasing in an apartment, you're renting an apartment, and you must not have paying your rent 30 days late plus in the last 24 months. And another good thing about this program is if your income is not good enough, because a lot of my clients, maybe they work at the restaurants, like usually people work at restaurants and they don't file a lot on their W-2s. If that was not good enough, then if you have extra asset in your bank account, your stock account, or your retirement account, we can actually use the income. We can actually use it as income to qualify. But then we also need to see now how much it will be and to determine how much it can be used as income. And for this program, it does have 12 months reserves required, meaning that originally you're trying to put down 20% for a different loan program. That's why it requires 10%, but then the bank does want to see after closing, you still have extra money in the bank in case you lose your job in the future, because this is the loan that our bank keeps ourselves. So they want to see that even if, say 12 months from now you don't have a job, you'll still be able to make your monthly payment. But that can also come from your bank account, stock account, and retirement account. All right, for these 3 programs, do you guys have any questions so far? Perfect, everybody knows it already.
We know it all.
Okay, amazing. All right, so the next one I'm gonna talk about is also very important. We're gonna talk about credit score.
Question though. So when would we be able to know how much will we able to get? Will we able to know like from the very beginning or at the end?
Which part are you talking about?
The money, of course.
Okay, of course.
When are we able to know?
Okay, so, oh yeah, I forgot to mention one part, Michelle, great question. So, we will know when we talk to you, like when I will ask you what kind of job that you're doing. Of course, like you don't just tell me that, oh, I work for school, when you're actually not. Because later, we're gonna have to verify with your current employee to see if you're actually working here. When you started working here, that's a regular process for every loans. Even if they're not giving you $7,500 or $10,000, the bank will always reach out to your current employer to see if you are working for them and when did you start working for them, and then we'll ask them what's your position in this company. that's when we'll find out how much you will get. So if you work for school, you're a teacher, for sure, you'll get $10,000.
So so meaning once we get our contract ratified, we will already know if we'll be qualified for 75 or 10,000 or whatever amount.
Correct. So that's the initial process, and then for the final one, we actually have to wait. Let's say if you're a teacher, we know for sure that's $10,000. If you tell me that you work for school but you're not a teacher, that part we have to confirm with that. Depends on what they actually finalize, not the bank. It's the Federal Reserve home loan bank that we're working with. And they will determine. It's probably gonna take like 2 weeks after the loan process. And then maybe you guys also wonder how do you apply for that? We do that while we start the loan process. And we do have some kind of documents, like just a few pages of papers for you guys to fill out, just to confirm that you don't have anybody else that in your household that is making income, stuff like that. We just need to verify that. And other questions on this part? Michelle, great question. And others?
I mean, also I'm not qualified, but I still
Yeah,
want to.
you're not, because you are not first-time homebuyer anymore.
So if you do qualify for that 10,000, the 10,000 will be on the final when you do the statement as a settlement. The 10,000 will be the deduction.
Yes,
Right.
correct. It will be deducted from your closing disclosure. So the money will be deducted the day that you're at closing. It will be used as the cash that you're actually paying.
Yeah.
So what's the time frame? Say we're going to work with Michelle, like my daughter, she's a school teacher, and she will definitely
great.
qualify.
So you do.
Well, that's why we're here today, right?
Yeah.
So say if we start working with Michelle, and then you start your process at the loan application, what's the time frame at your bank?
You
to
mean
close
from the
whole
day
thing?
that we're under contract until closing?
Yeah.
30 days.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I actually did one deal with Jessie. Was that the investment property, right?
Yeah, that was investment.
Yeah, and I told her at the very last minute, I got ratified first, then I learned about her. So I was like, here you go, can you help me out, you know? And she was able to help me to close it with bank
Yeah.
Right.
within
so,
30 days. And
Right.
it did pretty
Right. So for this program, because it's the grant program that we actually work with other banks, not banks, Federal Reserve. So it takes 30 days. But then if there was regular ratified contract that you're under, we can do like 23 days. No
Oh, wow,
problem.
okay. So I guess the question would be like, since we're taking a grant from, I don't know, third party or the government,
Right,
but
right.
it would not take more than 30 days. We can
Right.
still close in 30 days.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the other catch with this one is also, I'm looking at ARM. It's not fixed, so it's adjustable rate mortgage.
Oh, right.
So it fluctuates depending on
Right,
market.
right, I'm
So
sorry,
that's
I
something
mentioned this
very
part.
much people have to take in consideration.
Correct.
That's the catch.
That is, so yeah, I do need to mention to
Yeah.
you guys. So the program, it is 5-1-ARM and 10-1-ARM. Are you guys familiar with the ARM,
Question.
adjustable rate?
Yeah, I mean, question mark quick. Thanks, Vincent. I didn't even catch that. But for the zero down payment, is that fixed rate too? Or
Zero down payment is fixed.
Oh,
Only
so
this program is ARM.
okay. So the zero down payment is actually fixed.
Correct.
So I guess my question would be if we can all take, then we should all take advantage of the zero down payment since it's all fixed rate already. Why we, that's what.
Why we want this
Yeah.
program, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's because not everybody can be eligible for the 0% down. It has income limit as well. And it also has address that needs to be eligible. Let's say you look at the house, the address is not eligible, then we cannot offer that program to you.
Oh, yeah.
So at that point, we can come to this program. Right now, the current interest rate is around like 6.375. For this program, 10-1-ARM, okay, let's restart, I guess. So we're not familiar with adjustable rate, right? Okay, great, because not everybody's familiar with that. So there are a few different types loans, most popular tool is 30-year fixed. That means that once you lock in the interest rate will be the same for the next 30 years. You don't have to worry about the interest rate's gonna change. And then there's another type, now that it's very popular because the interest rate is so high. So right now, more people tend to get adjustable rate. This program that we offer, we have 5-arm and 10-arm, which means if you choose 5-arm, the interest rate now is at 5.25, comparing to 6.375, you're saving $9, and it's a couple $100 a month, depends on the loan amount. So 5-arm means that the first 5 years interest rate is gonna be fixed. It's locked in for 5 years, 5.25. But then 5 years later, the interest rate will fluctuate. It depends on the current market. 5 years from now, we don't know what the market is going to be like. If it's higher, then yes, it will go up higher. If it's lower, then your interest rate is going to be lower too. But then if it's lower, most of people will just refinance, because once you refinance, you can lock in the fixed rate. Because like 2 years ago, the interest rate was 2.5. Like tons of people were refinancing because their interest rate was always like more than 3.5% and higher. But then at that point, once they refinance, they can lock in the rate for lower for sure, and then later they can pay lower on their interest. And we do, except for 5-arm, we also have 10-arm, which means that 10 years, within 10 years, the interest rate will be locked in. 5.5 is the 5.75 is the 10-year interest rate right now. And then 10 years later, you can refinance if there's a chance. But if there is not, the rate will fluctuate, just like what the current market is going to be like. Every year, it will fluctuate and up 2%. If it's lower, it will lower by 2% as well. But then there's a maximum percentage. It will be 5% on top of whatever the percentage is right now. So let's say if that's 5.25, 5 years, 10 years from now, if the interest rate goes really high, say 15%, we're not sure, I'm just exaggerating, 13%. But then for this program, it will be 5 plus whatever the interest rate is now. If that was 5.25, and then the lifetime cap will be 10.25. So most of people now, like my clients, a lot of them choose this option. They go with 10-year arm because it's safer. We don't know what the interest rate is going to be like, but we think you will be 99% of the time that you should be able to get a chance to refinance in the next 10 years. We don't know about the next 3 years, 5 years might still be a question, but then for the next 10 years, we strongly believe that you should have a chance to refinance. Because from the past, there's always a chance for you to refinance every few years. And the next one we're gonna talk about is the very important one, is the credit score. Close and reopen. Michelle, I do want to show you this screen because we do have another flyer in there, but then this one you don't, and that's very important too.
Michelle.
Michelle?
Yeah, Chantel.
Yeah. I don't know where her email is. I want to go back to her email. Okay, we're good. Thank you. We're good, thank you, appreciate that.
I think she went to ladies' room.
So next thing we're gonna talk about is credit score. Do you guys know how credit score is being calculated? I think that most people is not familiar with that. Well, sounds like you might know.
What's the question again?
Do you know how your credit score is being calculated? How do they calculate how do they determine what your credit score is?
Well, they check if you pay on time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most important one.
Yeah.
And there are a few more. So payment history. I'm sorry, what's your name?
May.
Nan?
May.
May. Oh, May. Okay, so May did mention that payment history is the most important one. Out of 100%, payment history takes 35%. Meaning that if you have a credit card, if you have any loan or any other payment, if you pay on time in the past, if you don't, then it's gonna hurt your credit score a lot. Because once it's reported to the credit bureau, it's gonna hurt your credit score so much. And then the next one, 30% of the credit score is calculated based on your amount that is being owed. Let's say you have a credit card, the credit limit is $10,000, and then your current credit balance is $7,000. That's gonna hurt your credit score. You wanna keep the balance within like 25 to 30%, meaning that the card, you wanna keep the balance somewhere like $2,500 or $3,000 in order to not have your credit score being hurt. And next one, new credit. You don't want to keep going to the bank and trying to open up new credit score, especially when you know that you're trying to buy the house the next couple of months. I know that a lot of companies actually offer like bonus when you open credit cards. I used to do that too, but then at that time I didn't know anything. I was like, well, I got a mail saying that I could get up to $200 or $300 bonus if I open a credit card. So I just did that. I know a lot of people do that. Like they will open 4 or 5 credit cards at a time. That will hurt your credit score a lot. If you don't think you're trying to buy a house right now, go ahead and do it. But then if you think that you're trying to buy the house within the next year or so, you don't want to do that because that will hurt your credit score. The money, the bonus they give to you is actually not going to be as much as the interest that you pay on your mortgage loan, because once your credit score is lower, the interest rate will be higher. So you're actually paying more on that. And 15% will be on the length of credit history. It's basically saying that how long you've already had this account, like credit card account, auto loan, how long you had it, telling you, well, let me see, how many credit cards that are being used. So you can open more credit cards, but then you don't want to close any accounts. Because if you think about this way, if you had a credit card account for 10 years, the credit score was very good because of that. But now that you close it, all the history from that account is going to be gone. So they don't accumulate that credit score and into yours. Then you're losing those credit scores. So make sure that you pay the payments on time, and then the balance, you don't want to keep it too high. That's another way to help you get your credit higher.
One last thing, if you don't mind me, but Jane,
Of course.
with the credit cards, a lot of people get carried away. They got a whole bunch of credit cards, at least 15, 20. That's not a good idea. You know, we want to try to minimize it, especially each card. Let's say you have $1,000 maximum. Try not to go over 15%. Try to keep it below 15%. That way you get a good credit history.
Right, that's
If you go
definitely
over
better.
People can kind of like, it's a negative thing. to the
Right,
credit.
absolutely. So basically, they do say that if you can keep it within 25 to 30%, you will be fine. But if you can keep it lower, of course, that will be better. You just don't want to overuse your credit card on the balance.
Yeah, those kind of things that we will remind our buyer too, like, you know, hey, we are start looking for houses. What are you doing with your credit card? What are you doing? Don't do anything and keep your credit 33 or 30% down to keep a good credits, or pay off right now if you can.
Pay off, totally pay off.
Well,
You
it's-
cannot increase your credit. if
It
you owe the
depends.
$200 and then you
Well,
pay
break point
$200
means
off,
that thank you for bringing that
it's
up.
not
This
good
happens
for your
so
credit.
often
Right.
nowadays.
No, it's when,
People just don't know
not right now,
how
I'm
much
not
you
asking
can
to do it
spend.
right now,
Right.
but when you start looking for houses, you know, those are kind of like things that I will ask my buyer to do to keep the credits there. And that sometimes it can help too.
So we do have another solution. Let's say your credit score, I put your credit score is, let's say 700. So the reason why we can see from there, like why your credit score is 700, it will tell us it's because you open so many new credit card accounts the past 1 year or so. Or it could be because you have the balance is too high. We do have a way to get this resolved. What happened is, let's say we mentioned like you have a credit card that is $10,000 credit limit. Now that you owe $7,000. Because of that, your credit score is hurting, so we can actually go to the website, the credit website that our bank work with. We'll go there to see, we'll find a way like to see what if you do this, and then how we will be able to get your credit score up. In this case, most of the time, if you pay actual balance, if you pay actual amount on the balance, and then to keep the credit balance lower, now it's down to $2,000. We can do that. You call, once you pay that, you actually need to call the bank and telling them, oh, I need a letter showing that now my balance is $2,000. That's only when you're already in the loan process, because we don't want to re-pull your credit score again. It will hurt your credit score. So this is how we are going to do it. You get a letter from the creditor, and then it will show your name, account number, balance, current balance. We use that letter to rescore. By not have to pull your credit score again, but then we can rescore. Maybe it will be 720 now.
So you only pull once during the whole loan process?
Right, so what happened is, when you are coming to me for pre-approval matter, I can either do soft pull for you. Soft pull doesn't hurt your credit score at all. But if I have to run the system, let's say your debt to income ratio is very tight, at this point I want to make sure our loan is good, then I will have to do a soft pull because I need to run the system to see if we're good. If that wasn't the case, I will just hard pull your credit. And once I put that credit, we can use it for 4 months. So if I put it today, you have 4 months until you close. We don't have to pull your credit score again. Okay. But if you're saying that, oh, within the 4 months I don't have a house that is being under control, or I don't like any house, then next year or 4 months later, when you are under the contract, we have to pull the credit score again. And any questions on that?
So say if you pull the credit score and her credit score, for example, 680, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like you said, that she will try to pay down the any credit card payment, and then they get a letter from the credit bureau.
Right.
So
from
once
creditor. Like
creditor.
if that was
Oh,
Chase, you get
creditor.
it from Chase.
I see. So then you will have that letter, and then you will do your math to see if she has reached that 700 credit
Right.
score.
So before I tell you, oh, you need to pay this down to $2,000. That was already after I look at the result online. But then it's not 100%.
Yeah.
It's usually like 94, 97%. It's not 100%, but it's worth a shot.
Okay.
And then when I tell you that you paid it down, and then you call the creditor and get me the letter. So I will work on it with our credit company, and then to get it restored, because they will work on that, and then to get it restored to the next level. Once the credit score is higher, then your interest rate will be higher. Your interest rate will be better.
Yeah.
Right. And the last one that we have is still talking about credit scores. So it does have do's and don'ts. We did mention a little bit about what not to do. Here it tells you like what you should do. So you want to continue to use your credit card as normal. You don't want to just stop using it. Because once you use it, you pay it back, it will still accumulate to your credit score. And make sure that you make your payment on time, because the one late payment notice can cost you. And if you don't think your credit score is high enough, there's another way to get your credit score higher. Let's say mother and daughter, right? So let's say your credit score is now 800, and May's credit score is 680. How do we get her credit score higher, like quickly? You can actually add her as authorized user.
Okay.
Let's say if you have a Chase bank account, you call Chase Bank, you say that, I want to add my daughter as an authorized user. So once you add her on that account, your credit score will goes into her credit score, so it will help her get her credit score higher because all the payment history that you have, all the credit history that you have, is gonna help her getting her credit score up.
Okay.
Credit card accounts and then keep the balance below 30% of their limit. That Vincent also brought it up, that you want to keep it as low as possible. Like if there was 15-20%, that's even better. If you don't think that you have enough cash, then you can do 30% lower. And thank you so much all for being here today. It was my pleasure to give you guys the presentation. Do you guys have any questions for me?
You guys have any questions?
Not right now.
So I guess we have to go to you first to start looking for houses, right? And then once we
Find a house?
find a house, and then we'll go to her to start the process.
Well,
It's better off to get pre-qualified first.
Yes.
right.
yeah.
Vincent knows a lot. You're
Well,
not
I mean, you
first-time
can do it at the
homebuyer.
same time,
Oh, no.
I do a lot of
but
things.
she can
Ah.
help you determine how much down payment or what's the price budget you are looking.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I see.
before you look at the houses, you actually want to come to me first.
Okay.
Because Michelle doesn't know how much you can be qualified
Right, that's
for.
true.
So